So, self-image. It's a thing that many people struggle with, that even I have struggled with. Usually, we go through this life and we have a perception of ourselves, our self-image. And at times it might not be good. We might have a poor kind of self-image based on our performance or our initial thoughts about ourselves. But is there any way to change that? I'm quite sure majority have struggled with this aspect. How they see themselves. If it's in a positive light or a negative light. If they can affect it. Well, one can. When it comes to self-image, you have to understand that it's the relationship with oneself. Essentially, if you're an individual who keeps his word or her word for the things that you're trying to do, continually setting an expectation and then living up to it, you will be increasing your self-image in that specific area of delivering, showing up, performing, doing the work, making the effort. We can take an example. If one is in school and one is struggling with a couple of subjects, that kind of self-image that one has because one has received poor marks or poor grades affects oneself. How you decide to move forward, it will only hold you back from that aspect. But then you get caught up into something that has already happened, and things happen. You get bad marks, for example, in school. But the question is then, what are you going to do about it? If there's anything you can do about it. If there's a second chance. At that moment, even though you've failed to meet the expectations you had for yourself, maybe you decided what you wanted to pass the grade, or you wanted to get a C average, or even the highest grade possible, but you weren't able to make it. Because of various reasons. What does that do to the self-image? When you set an expectation for yourself and you're not able to meet that standard, it tears it down. The self-image becomes lower than it previously was. Because there was that hope before you got the mark on the test. That kind of aspect of the self-image is important to understand. That is a relationship with yourself and how you decide to keep the promises to yourself. You make a certain kind of commitment. The more you're able to deliver, the more your self-image will increase. They're aligned, they go together. But for the individual who has a poor self-image, there's a lot of negative thoughts now flowing through you. You're not quite sure on how to progress further. You feel lost. You're not in the right headspace to move quickly, or to move at the speed you want to move forward. What do one do to improve that self-image? What can one do? In order to build that self-image, you need to be able to trust yourself, believe in yourself, have an understanding of yourself. Because when you look in the mirror, the only one you see is you. Truly. And sure, you might have individuals in your surroundings who might enforce your self-image, how you see yourself. Maybe they decide to encourage you or hype you up, lift you up with praises, what it might be. Or it could be the vice versa, to lower your self-image. It all comes into play. It all matters. But the aspect of understanding oneself is the key here. Knowing who you are and what kind of image you have of yourself before other people put an image of you and try to portray it on you. And even when you are on the journey of trying to improve your self-image, who you are, who you want to be, there will always be someone who will try to keep you to the same standard. So if you had a negative self-image, right? And a person in your surrounding sees that and treats you in a certain kind of way, they'll try to keep you at the same standard of the previous self-image you had, despite the aspect that you're trying to move forward, to improve, to get better, to achieve something higher of yourself. But there is a duality to all these kind of things. What really truly affects the self-image? Outside factors and your factors within. But the only thing you can control is the factors within. your thoughts,
which then affects your emotions, which is directly
how you feel. So if you're not secure in your own kind of self-image, what will happen when individuals in your surrounding come with their perception, their perspective, their thoughts, their viewpoint of your image of you? How they decide to speak to you, behave towards you, or treat you. Now, for most, this kind of criticism or perspective or viewpoint that other people might have of them is difficult to resist. Naturally, it's difficult to resist, but to have a general understanding of the differences and the consequences will be greatly important. Self-image is something you can build if it's low. If it's already high, then do whatever you can to keep up that momentum. But it comes from understanding that what is today does not have to be tomorrow, that there can be change, that there can be improvement, that there can be something better. But you have to decide. If you tell yourself you're gonna wake up at a certain time, then you do it. If you tell yourself that you're gonna sleep at a certain time, then you do it. If you tell yourself that you're gonna go and exercise, then do it. If you tell yourself that you're gonna eat a certain kind of way, then do it. If you tell yourself you're going to make a new kind of commitment, then you do it. Because every time you do it, you reinforce your belief in yourself, which strengthens your self-image. But that is a choice one makes consciously for yourself and for those around you. That's all.